Hello everyone, namaste, welcome back to my channel. Hi, this is Amisha Singh Chauhan. Actually, I should welcome myself as well on this platform. I know it has been quite a long time. But anyways, hi, if you're new here and if you're looking for something fun, dark and mysterious, then you're the right place. And do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Also hit that bell icon so that every time I'm here with a new case to talk about, you'll get to know about it. So almost a week ago, I had this poll on Instagram and as a community post on YouTube where I asked you all, what case do you want me to cover in my next video? And most of you voted for Sheena Bora's murder case. I will be definitely covering Cyanide Mohan's case as well in my future videos, but for today, we are gonna talk about Sheena Bora. Now, this case, it has so many things happening. There are so many people involved. And most importantly, let me just give you this heads up that if you've watched Game of Thrones, then you have already done the warm-up for this video. I mean, yes, you need to keep a track on who's related to whom in what manner. I remember I was 15 back when all of this thing was happening. Like, I couldn't understand, like, what was happening? Like, who are these people and how are they even related? Like I said, so many things are happening. All you have to do is just sit down and quietly and peacefully listen to what I'm saying. Because if your base is clear, then all the other things would make sense. Why do I sound like my professors? If your base is clear. So anyways, without any further ado, let's get started. In June of 2015, Commissioner of Police Rakesh Maria, he received an anonymous phone call. Now on this phone call, this person informed Rakesh Maria, the commissioner, that a woman named Sheena Bora has been missing for past 3 years, and not only that, she has been murdered, and her own family has been going around and telling everyone that Sheena Bora has gone to United States for her further education, and in reality she had been murdered and nobody was looking into it. When Rakesh Maria got to know about this thing, he immediately started investigating. Like, not himself, he asked an inspector, Inspector Kadam from Khar police station, to secretly investigate this case. The reason behind secret investigation was because A, this was a high profile case. Sheena Bora was related to Indrani Mukerjea. Sheena Bora was Indrani Mukerjea's sister, and Indrani Mukerjea herself is like a huge businesswoman. She was married to Peter Mukerjea, who is a media tycoon and was also the ex-CEO of Star Channels. So if you know about these Star Plus, Star Sports and all of these channels, yes, he was the CEO of those channels. He literally brought that channel to be #1 in the entire country with television shows like Kabhi Saas Bhi Bahu Thi and Kaun Banega Crorepati. So anyways, back to the case. He started secretly investigating this case. He knew that he had to get solid evidence because he knew that these people were really rich and it would be very easy for them to influence, anybody, any witnesses. So he asked Inspector Kadam to go ahead with this case. Now, in the preliminary stage of the investigation, Inspector Kadam knew that something was wrong, something was amiss. So people had no idea where Sheena Bora was, only that the sister Indrani Mukerjea had been telling everyone that she had gone to United States for further education. Now, there was no evidence that she had left the country. There was no evidence that she was in United States. Also, there was no missing persons report filed in the nearby police stations. Now, slowly and gradually, the suspicion started getting on the sister Indrani Mukerjea. Now, they couldn't directly go ahead and confront her on this because she was out of India. And also, if she got to know that there was some sort of investigation going on Sheena Bora and she was one of the prime suspects, then she might never return back to India and it would be very difficult for the case to move ahead. So they started looking for evidences against Indrani Mukerjea. Now, they knew that the case couldn't be solved until and unless they wouldn't speak to someone who was, somewhere or the other connected to these people directly. And then they came across the driver Shyamvar Rai. Now, Shyamvar Rai was Indrani Mukerjea's driver at the time of Sheena Bora's disappearance back in 2012. They put him under surveillance as well, and that is when they found out that he was doing various other minor crimes as well, like dealing in illegal arms and stuff. And they strategized to use these minor charges against him in near future. You'll understand how did they do that. So anyways, they had their eyes on everyone basically, in specific on Indrani Mukerjea and Shyam Rai. Now this went went on for months, for 3 months to be precise. And that is when in the second week of August, Rakesh Maurya, the Mumbai police commissioner, he received this information that Indrani Mukerjea was back in town. And that is when he decided to tighten up the nets. And his team arrested Shyam Rai in an illegal arms act. So a side note over here, he really was dealing with some illegal arms. It wasn't that the police, accused him of something false. So anyways, while Shyam Rai was being interrogated on the illegal arms case, he was all of a sudden out of nowhere being questioned about Sheena Bora's disappearance, and it caught him off kilter. He was like, what is this happening? And then he was pushed a little bit by these police officers, and that is when he cracked and he confessed. He told the investigators, he told the police officers that he was involved in the disappearance of Sheena Bora, and the tip-off that they had received was true, that Sheena Bora was dead, was murdered back 3 years ago in 2012. He informed the investigators that the main person behind all of this was none other than but Sheena Bora's sister Indrani Mukerjea, and there was a third person as well. He was Indrani Mukerjea's second husband, ex-husband, Sanjeev Khanna. Now, as soon as the Mumbai police got this information from Shyamvar Rai, they took him to the place where Shyam had said that they had buried Sheena's dead body after burning her. This place was a forest and plain area of Raigad district, which is around like 100 kilometers from Mumbai city. Now, over there, they exhumed the place where Shyam had said that they had buried Sheena's body, and they were able to find out some of her body parts, like, obviously it has been 3 years and it was very difficult to identify it, but then the technology and forensic science has really advanced a lot. So they sent it immediately for forensic testing. Now back in Mumbai, with all of these information and all of these evidences against Indrani Mukerjea and her ex-husband Sanjeev Khanna, Indrani Mukerjea was arrested on 25th of August 2015 from her flat in Worli. And on the next day, Sanjeev Khanna was arrested in Kolkata by the Joint Commissioner of Police over there and then handed over to Mumbai Police for further investigation. Now this case has like lot of twists and turns, and remember the Game of Thrones reference that I was giving? Now here comes the bomb. So the moment Indrani Mukerjea's name came out in public, the media went crazy with everything. It was a high profile case, like Rakesh Maurya was suspecting, and he was right. Everybody wanted to know everything, and there were so many things happening. All of a sudden, all of these media channels, they started saying that Sheena Bora was not Indrani Mukerjea's sister, but her daughter. I mean, like I said, I don't think so anybody was expecting this to happen, but it definitely did happen. And then people were like, is this just an accusation? Are they just making assumptions? What is this happening? Like, do they have any evidence regarding this? And then the police came up front and said that indeed, Sheena Bora was not Indrani's sister, but her daughter. Now, before I go ahead with this case, like what happens next and stuff, we need to start from day one, when all of these things started happening. Because it is very important, otherwise you guys won't be able to understand what happened, what was the reason of the murder, why did it happen, XYZ. Indrani Mukerjea originally was Pari Bora. Now, Pari Bora was from Guwahati of Assam. Now, over there, she was in a live-in relationship with some person, and she had 2 kids with him together. Now, the first one was Sheena Bora, and the second one was Mukerjea Bora, Sheena Bora's brother, obviously. Now, things did not work out between them, so they got separated. And Indrani decided to move from Guwahati to Kolkata. Now, before she did that, she left her kids with her parents back in Guwahati and then moved to Kolkata, to try out her career. Now, before she did that, she got married to Siddharth Das. Now, things again did not work out between Indrani and Siddharth. They got divorced, they were separated. And then in Kolkata, she met another man. This time it was Sanjeev Khanna. Now, with Sanjeev Khanna, she had a daughter together. Her name is Vidhi. Now, again, things did not work out. They got divorced. And after her divorce from Kolkata, she went to Mumbai. Now, here in Mumbai, she started working as an HR consultant slash executive in the Star Channel company. Now, this is the very same company where Peter Mukerjea was the CEO. They had 15, 16 years of age gap and they were introduced by one of their mutual friends. They immediately hit it off, and then in 2002, they got married. Now, in following years, or somewhere in 2004 and 2005, she introduced Sheena Bora and Mikhail Bora to her husband Peter Mukerjea as her siblings, not as her children, but as her siblings. Now, later on, we would find out from Mikhail Bora that the reason why even Sheena and Mikhail even agreed to this, like agreed to being called as Indrani's siblings and not her children, the reason behind it was because they had a lot of financial issues, and she was doing pretty well. I mean, more than pretty well. And they needed financial support for their education. They also needed financial support because they had to take care of their grandparents. Now, grandparents being Indrani's own parents. So anyways, they went to her and she had this one condition. She said that the only way she would fund them is if they agreed to go out in the society and would call her their older sister and not their mother. So they were like, whatever, she anyways hasn't been part of our life for most of the years, so it is fine. We just need to be educated, so that one day we could just stand on our own feet and take care of our grandparents. So they agreed to her condition. Now, after completing their school, Sheena Bora moved to Mumbai, and for her bachelor's, she got in St. Xavier's College to study economics. Now, while she was in St. Xavier's, she started living with Indrani and Peter Mukerjea at their apartment for almost a year and a half. Now, after that, she moved out of the apartment, she started living in a PG, and then after she graduated, she got into Reliance company. Now, when she was living with Peter Mukerjea and Indrani Mukerjea, she met Rahul Mukerjea. Now, Rahul Mukerjea is Peter Mukerjea's son from his first marriage. Now, I know, a lot of different characters. Let me just sum it up once. Sheena Bora, Indrani Mukerjea. Sheena Bora is the daughter, Indrani Mukerjea is the mother. Indrani Mukerjea had a live-in relationship with her boyfriend. They had 2 kids together, Sheena and Mikhail. And then after that, she got married to Siddharth Das, and after that, she got married to Sanjeev Khanna. They had a daughter together, Vidhi. They got divorced. After getting divorced from Sanjeev Khanna, she got married to Peter Mukerjea. Now, Peter Mukerjea over here, he was previously married to Shabnam Singh. Before he got married to Indrani Mukerjea, he was married to Shabnam Singh, and with Shabnam he had 2 sons. One was Robin and the other one was Rahul. So while Sheena was living with Indrani and Peter, she got very close to Rahul Mukerjea and they started dating and they fell in love. Now, initially, Rahul had no idea that Sheena Bora was his half sister. I mean, Sheena knew from day one, obviously, but Rahul had no idea. But eventually, we would find out that Rahul knew about it later, as he was told about this information by Sheena herself. Now, Indrani from day one did not like that Sheena and Rahul were dating. She was completely against this relationship. And when she found out that it was just not casual dating and, they are very serious about it and they are thinking about getting married and stuff, things started getting really worrisome and threatening for her. She would literally threaten Rahul and Sheena. She would keep on sending these threatening emails to Sheena saying that she would disinherit her, that, all of the funds that Indrani is sending to Sheena or to Mikhail for their education and to, for the welfare of their grandparents, she will stop sending them and, all of these things. But Sheena was like, you're very toxic. I'm not gonna let you control my life anymore. I am happy with Rahul and that is all we need. Now, this is what happens. In 2012, Sheena Bora receives a phone call on 24th of April from her mother Indrani Mukerjea. So Indrani on this phone call tells Sheena, asks her that, how about we meet for a drink? We sit down like adults and talk this out. This has been going for so long. We need to find a conclusion. We need to sort this matter out. At first, Sheena was like, I don't know if I really trust this woman. But then she was like, just let me give it a shot. Anyways, so she agrees to meet her on 24th of April 2012. She gets picked up from her company, from her office by Rahul Mukerjea himself. And he drops her off opposite National College in Bandra in Mumbai. And over there in the car are waiting three people. One is Shyamvar Rai, the driver. The other one is Indrani Mukerjea. And third one is Sanjeev Khanna, who flew from Kolkata to Mumbai that day. Now Sheena was very hesitant, but she still got inside the car, and as soon as she did, the car started moving. Now Indrani offered her a bottle of water, and this bottle of water was spiked. So the moment Sheena started drinking the water, she started getting unconscious. She started feeling very dizzy. Now after she got completely unconscious, Shyamvar Rai drove the car to a nearby lane which was very quiet comparatively to the hustle-bustle city. And over there, they strangulated her. To be precise, Indrani Mukerjea strangulated her own daughter, her own biological daughter, with her own bare hands. Now after that, they stuffed her body in a suitcase and put that suitcase in the trunk of the car, and they drove the car towards Worli, towards Indrani's apartment. The car was parked in their garage, and then Indrani went upstairs with Shyamvar Rai. Sanjeev Khanna went back to his hotel room. Now they decided that since it was night time and the security are gonna be really high, so it would be really difficult for them to go outside without being noticed. So they decided to discard the body in the wee hours of 25th of April 2012. Now around 2 a.m. they leave Mumbai city and move towards Raigad district's Pain area near the forest. Now over there they drag the suitcase inside the forest, some meters inside the forest, where they burn it off completely. And what they do is that they take these burnt parts and try to bury them. They think that they have buried off the entire body, but apparently they did not. So what happened is that 1 month later, on 23rd of May 2012, there were few villagers from nearby villages who were in the forest picking some mangoes, and that is when they got the stench of decomposing body. And that area is quite known, like it is quite famous for, dead bodies being dumped all the time. In fact, it is said that the very same year when Sheena Bora's body was dumped over there, there were other 15 to 16 dead bodies found from this very same area. So anyways, these people, they go to that spot, they notice that there is a burnt suitcase over there, and there is this dead body over there which is completely burnt and is also pretty much decomposed. They immediately alert the police, and when the police comes in, they take over the body parts, whatever was left, and they tried to look around in nearby police stations checking if there was any missing persons report, but there wasn't. So what they did was, instead of filing any report, filing any case, any sort of maybe accidental death or missing person or anything like that, what they do is that they do the Hindu ritual and they bury the body off without even collecting DNA evidence, which makes it very difficult in future, in 2015, for Mumbai police to investigate. So anyways, what happens is, again, there is like a lot of things that happened after the case emerged outside in the media. People started questioning why there was no case reported back in the day. So yeah, there is a possibility that back in 2012, Indrani Mukerjea paid few officials to not investigate, when she might have heard that they have found a body. So I don't know, let's not go there as of now. So yes, a lot of people do question as to why back in 2012 nobody reported, like why didn't a police officer report a missing person, or that a dead body was found, or why did they not save a DNA evidence? Like how could they just bury that body off? So yeah, there were a lot of questions being raised against the police. Some people also believe that maybe Indrani Mukerjea was the person behind this, and maybe she, bribed a police officer to not to file a case against whatever they found in that forest. So anyways, back in 2015, the police has already arrested Shyamvar Rai, Indrani Mukerjea, and her ex-husband Sanjeev Khanna. So anyways, after they dumped off her body, after burning the entire body with petrol, they went back to the city. And in the next few days started the storytelling. So Indrani would go on and tell everyone, including Rahul Mukerjea and Sheena Bora, Sheena's brother, Indrani's son, that Sheena Bora had left the city, has left the country and moved to United States. She was doing her education there. She has gotten a new job over there, and all she wanted to do was focus. In fact, when Rahul Mukherjee got really suspicious about all of these things, he also went to police station and he tried to file a missing person report for Sheena Bora. But when the police officers went and spoke with Indrani Mukherjee, because come on, she is the sister, she is the family over here, so they went and spoke with Indrani. So Indrani instead told the police officers that no, Sheena is doing absolutely fine. She's in United States. This person over here is her ex-boyfriend and he is stalking her and he's very obsessed about it and stuff. And Rahul had no other option but to take a step back, because he also got an email from Sheena Bora's email account saying that, you know what, I can't do this relationship anymore. I'm just ending this and I want some space from you, and that is why I'm going to United States. Over that, Indrani Mukherjee also showed an evidence to everyone that Sheena had apparently resigned from her job at a Reliance company and had sent this resignation letter where she herself had signed. Now, after all of this information, pretty much Rahul Mukherjee and Mukerjea Bora, they were like, okay, maybe she has left the city. They were not satisfied with the way things had ended, like the way Sheena had left them, but they were like, okay, maybe that did happen. So anyways, back in 2015, Mumbai police had arrested Shamvar Rai, Indrani Mukherjee and Indrani Mukherjee's ex-husband Sanjeev Khanna. The reason behind all of this, the reason why Sheena Bora was murdered, people assume was because Indrani did not wanted Sheena to get married to Rahul Mukherjee. The reason was, again, the reason behind her being against this relationship was because back in 2002, when she got married to Peter Mukerjea adopted Vidhi from her second marriage, or what Peter believed was to be Indrani's first marriage. So Vidhi got Peter's surname, and she also was direct inheritant of Peter and Indrani's will. So if anything happened to them, she would become the sole, person, sole inheritor over here, apart from Rahul and Robin, of course. Now, the issue was that if Sheena gets married to Rahul, then most of the property that would be inherited by Vidhi would be divided between her and Sheena, and she did not wanted that. So she, got Sanjeev Khanna involved, because she was like, whatever, we did not work out, it is fine, but let's just do this for our daughter. If something happens to me, then our daughter would be safe. If Sheena gets married, then things would get really uneasy, so let's just kill Sheena Bora over here. This is what people believe. This is what CBI and the police believed. Now, eventually, the case was transferred from Mumbai police to the CBI. Now, again over here, there was a lot of things happening. Since it was a high profile case, people were questioning Mumbai police, people were questioning CP Rakesh Maria all the time. There were a lot of things happening, but I don't want to get into all of that politics right now. Also, it is said that when the Mumbai police was doing their investigation, they did find Peter Mukerjea suspicious in all of this. I mean, like, for a second you might be like, oh, poor guy, he was just so busy in earning millions. He had no idea what was happening back at home. But then there are so many questions that raises against him. How did he not know that Sheena and Indrani, they were not siblings but mother and daughter? Like, come on, he has been married to this woman for so long. Now, in an interview, Peter Mukerjea said that he had no idea. At first, he said that he had no idea that Sheena and Rahul were in a romantic relationship. But then in the second interview, he goes on saying that he knew about the relationship. He knew that Indrani was against it because what he believed was the reason behind Indrani not accepting their relationship was because she believed that Sheena deserved much better, because Rahul was not employed at the time, and he was completely fine with their relationship because he believed that they were adults. So he believed that who was he to come in between them? The way he changed his statement was definitely shady. Over that, he would go on saying that he was introduced by Indrani to Sheena Bora as Sheena being her sister, and she would also call him Jiju, and Jiju, which basically means brother-in-law. So he never really doubted his wife. But on the other hand, he also does this interview with Arnab Goswami, and he goes on saying that, on several different occasions, Rahul and Sheena Bora came to me and told me that my wife was lying and that in reality, Sheena is not Indrani's sister but her daughter. But I never believed them. And when Arnab Goswami asked him, like, why did you not believe your own son? Like, we understand with Sheena Bora, I mean, she's your sister-in-law, or that's what you believed she was. So how could you not believe your own son? And he said because he had no reason to doubt his own wife. He had promised to be with her forever. He gave her all trust and faith. So when he confronted Indrani and asked her what all this was happening, Indrani said, I don't know why they are, making up these stories. Maybe it is because I am against the relationship, or maybe it's because Rahul does not like that his father is married to another woman who is not his mother. So maybe they are making this story together because it is not true, because Sheena is my sister and not my daughter. So Peter Mukerjea blindly bought this. Like, he should have literally questioned, like, he should have dived a little deeper. And I'm pretty much sure that even if he would have asked just one person or two person here and there, he would have come to the right conclusion, but he did not. Or maybe he did. Or maybe he is just lying that he had no idea that Indrani and Sheena were related in this way. And I think that the police and the CBI saw this happening. There were a lot of inconsistencies with his statements. There were a lot of gaps that he was unsuccessful in filling up. And that is the reason why on 19th of November 2015, Peter Mukerjea was arrested by the CBI, and he had the very same charges as the other team members, Indrani Mukerjea, Sanjeev Khanna and Shyamvar Rai. Now, a side note over here, eventually Shyamvar Rai became the approver of this case. Now, while CBI was investigating this case and they were looking for the motives, they also found a financial angle to this case. So in 2007, Peter Mukerjea and Indrani Mukerjea together founded INX Media, and in 2009 they sold it. Now, it is believed that there was some money laundering happening, and at the same time siphoning of company funds to Sheena Bora's bank account in Singapore, and here we're talking about literally millions. Now, over here, there was another person who was in the limelight, and it was Sheena Bora's brother, Mukerjea Bora. A lot of people started questioning, like, how come your sister has been away for 3 years? Apparently, she is dead as well. And you never really suspected anything happening. Like, how could you not go to the police? And in return, Mukerjea says that there were several occasions where he would question his mother, Indrani. He would be like, whenever he would meet her, he would be like, can you just give Sheena a call? I want to talk to her or something like that. Then Indrani would get all defensive and she would be like, you're being very annoying to me right now. If you say another word regarding Sheena, then I would stop all the fundings and you won't be able to take care of your grandparents or yourselves. So in his defense, Mukerjea says that he had no other option but to just be compliant and to do whatever Indrani would ask him to do. And he also remembers that he would get these emails from Sheena's account saying that she was doing well and how is he doing and yada yada yada. And Indrani would also show him Sheena's Facebook page where she would be uploading pictures. So he never really suspected that she was not out there in United States. He was definitely worried about his sister, but he never really thought that she was dead. Over that, he had other evidences like the resignation letter on which Indrani definitely forged Sheena Bora's signature, and then there were these emails that he was receiving. So he never really thought that something was so dark out there. So he also believes that back in the day, now that he knows that his sister was murdered on 24th of April, he remembers that he actually was there. When his sister's dead body was in the trunk of the car, he was in the apartment present when Indrani Bora came back to her apartment after murdering Sheena Bora. He remembers that on the night of 24th of April, 9 p.m., he landed from Guwahati to Mumbai as it was requested by Indrani Mukerjea. So Indrani Mukerjea had emailed him a week ago saying that she was really missing him, that she had been abroad for quite a long time and she wanted to see him. So she asked him to, fly to Mumbai from Guwahati, and on 24th April 2012 he did. At 9 p.m. he reached her apartment, and around 12:30 a.m. Indrani Mukerjea came to the apartment. After she came, she sat down with him and then offered him a drink. Now here comes the shady part again. So what happened was that after he completed that drink, he started feeling dizzy, he started feeling very intoxicated, and he was a person who knew that, one drink was not just enough for him to feel so much, like so intoxicated. Also, he had alcohol dependency. He had been sent to rehabilitation center by Indrani herself. So he found this entire thing very shady, that they were having this drink together. At that time, he suspected that Indrani had definitely spiked the drink, but not to murder him, but to send him back to rehabilitation center. So after that, he just stopped drinking any alcohol, and he was just sitting there. He also noticed that Shamvir Rai was going in and out of the apartment continuously, and he found it really shady. Like, what was the driver doing inside the apartment? Over that, around 2 a.m., there was a knock on the door, and Shamvir Rai came in and told Indrani that there was a certain person who had come to take check that Peter Mukerjea had left behind. So he found that shady as well. He was like, okay, first of all, who comes at 2 a.m. at somebody's home to get a check? Like, that's definitely very suspicious. Now, over that, he also remembers that he saw the face of this man, and this man was none other than Sanjeev Khanna. Now, after giving this check back to Sanjeev Khanna, Indrani Mukerjea came back to the drawing room and told him to go to bed, and that she was leaving the apartment for an official meeting, and she also asked him not to lock the door as she would be coming back anytime soon. So yes, this was the time that she went back to the garage along with Sanjeev Khanna and Shamvir Rai to take Sheena's body to pain area to dispose it off. And the reason why Sanjeev Khanna was there was not to get this check from Peter Mukerjea, but to indicate that now was the time. So Sheena Bora suspects that they had planned out to murder him as well, but since he was not letting the spiked drink to get control of him, and he was very suspicious of everything that was happening, and also that the moment the sun rose that day, he ran away because he was against. At that time, what he feared was that Indrani was trying to get him intoxicated to send him back to rehabilitation center. Now he suspects that the reason why she wanted to get him intoxicated was to murder him off. So basically, there is a possibility that Indrani felt threatened by her own kids, by her own biological children, Sheena and Mikhail. She worried that in her high-profile society, if these people started telling everyone, if these people come up front and tell the reality of her relationship with them, then her name in the society would go down, that her image would be tarnished, and she definitely did not wanted that. And she conspired this entire thing to just get them off from her road. Further into investigation, another point came up front related to Mikhail. It was that Mikhail was actually seeing a psychiatrist at the time, and this psychiatrist was hired by Indrani herself. And the psychiatrist, during 2015 investigation, told the investigators that on a certain occasion, somewhere around the same period of Sheena's disappearance, Indrani had asked him what dosage of certain antipsychotic drugs would be fatal, and these same antipsychotic drugs Mikhail was using. So again, very suspicious. So we don't know if they were really planning on murdering Mikhail or not. That we certainly have no idea too. But then, yes, I know one thing for sure, and that is that Sheena Bora is dead, that she was murdered by her own family, by her own mother. And the thing is that Indrani Mukerjea never really confessed or accepted. In fact, forget about confessing to murder Sheena Bora, but she never really even accepted that Sheena Bora is dead. She would keep on saying and telling everyone that Sheena Bora is alive, that Sheena is in the United States, she is doing her studies, she is living her life. And then eventually she went on saying that maybe Peter is the one who murdered Sheena Bora because of, he might have some XYZ reasons. But if Peter was the main conspirator over here, then why would Sanjeev Khanna, I don't understand Sanjeev Khanna's role if Peter is the main conspirator. Also, there comes this question that if Sheena Bora is alive, then why are Shamvir Rai and Sanjeev Khanna lying? Because these two people immediately confessed in front of the police. They accepted in front of the court that they did murder Sheena Bora. So if these two people are lying, then it means Indrani is telling the truth. But then why would they lie? Also, the dead body, the body that they exhumed, the DNA matched with Indrani Mukerjea. The DNA that was found from that dead body was very much evident that whoever the person was Indrani's daughter. So again, that leaves a lot of doors to a lot of questions to Indrani Mukherjee, and that is the reason why I guess nobody really believes her. Also, recently in 2021 December, she actually told CBI and she appealed to the court that her daughter Sheena Bora was alive in Kashmir, as it was informed by one of her fellow inmates. So apparently this fellow inmate of hers in the prison told her that while she was in Kashmir, she had seen Sheena Bora, and Indrani Mukherjee now wants the police to go to Kashmir and look for Sheena Bora. Again, doesn't make any sense to me. Either this woman is completely mentally ill, and I'm not saying this because I'm making fun of her or anything in a wrong way, but either she's completely delusional or she is really a mastermind. And I don't know, she has not been convicted yet. She's still an accused just like everybody else in this case, and maybe she's trying to find a way out. I don't know what's gonna happen in future. It's still out there. There's no verdict yet. So we still can't, directly call someone the culprit over here. But I guess we kind of know, what happened. We might not know the reasons. We might not know if she really murdered her because she wanted everything for her daughter Vidhi. Maybe there was the financial angle. Maybe when they siphoned these millions of rupees in Sheena Bora's account in Singapore, and when they asked for that money back, Sheena Bora denied, and maybe that is why Peter Mukerjea and Indrani Mukherjee decided to murder her. Also, I forgot to inform you guys about this while I was talking about why Peter Mukerjea is very shady. One of the other reasons was because on the day of Sheena's murder, he was in contact with Indrani Mukherjee the entire time. He had evidence to show to the police that he was in Rome at the time, but his phone call history and his message history showed that he was in constant touch with his wife more than usual. That is definitely again shady. Like, I don't know how much Peter Mukerjee is involved in this murder, but I think he knew a lot of things, and I think that if he would have acted on these things, then Sheena might have been alive. And maybe he was negligent. Maybe, he tried to be oblivious to a lot of stuffs. It doesn't mean that he gets a way out. He has been charged just like everybody else for kidnapping, for murder, for conspiracy, and for disposing evidence and giving false statements. Now, that's all for the video. That's all for the case. Like I said, it's quite a depressing case. It's because, whatever happened, people did it for greed. There was a lot of greed over here. And a lot of times greed does make us do a lot of things. I mean, this is just not the example. There have been several other examples as well. And when you sit down and you think of Sheena, it really makes me sad thinking, that she never really had a mother. And then all of a sudden she does have her mother in her life, but she can't, call her mom in front of everyone. And that mom is not really her mother, but a very toxic person in her life, and eventually becomes her murderer. And over that, she was really in love, and she wanted to be happy, and she wanted to be, with Rahul Mukherjee, the person who made her happiest. And that never really did happen. And also another thing is that in all of this, we focused so much on Indrani Mukherjee and on Peter Mukerjea, Sanjeev Khanna, XYZ people, the reason behind the murder and everything. We forget that Sheena Bora was a human. And we don't really know her. I don't think so we would ever get to know what kind of human she was. So yeah, I know there's a lot of things happening inside my head right now. I don't really want to talk about them. So yeah, that's all for the case. I hope that you found this video informative, and I would definitely try to be a little more consistent. A lot of things are happening. I have my college, I have my internship, assignments. I'm trying to do some additional courses. I am procrastinating a lot these days. So yeah, I don't even have time to procrastinate, but I still do whenever I do have like a minute and stuff. So yeah, I like doing this. I feel so happy that I finally made another video. This really makes me happy. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope that you enjoy this as much as I do. And if you have anything to talk about, you know where to find me in the comment section, or you could directly hit me up on my Instagram. And that's all for the day. Take care, be positive. Bye bye.